911, what's your emergency?
I'd like to report a missing sofa.
Do you have a description?
It's brown and leather.
When was the last time you saw it?
It was last seen on the air.
Have you tried calling CQ?
No, I have not. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ara, N6ARA.
And I'm Mark, KD7DTS.
And welcome to episode 5 of SOFA's on the Air. SOFA's on the Air covers a whole host of topics, everything from summits on the air to parks on the air, ham radio, and just wacky random tangents we like to go on. And today, we have a very special guest, Umesh KK6TXI.
Umesh holds a technician class amateur radio license and views himself as educated in the hard streets of the South Bay.
Can you tell he didn't get to write this?
Umesh is an entrepreneur who works hard, possibly too hard, because he loves it. Mostly he loves technologies. He's an amateur technologist who has migrated through many nerdy hobbies, including off-roading, custom vehicle builds, security IT infrastructure, photography, videography, lighting, drones, RC cars, including an RC helicopter build, and music, and I'm out of fingers. So most recently, Umesh has taken a powerful interest in battery technologies. He characterizes amateur radio as the device which applies load to his creations.
Thank you.
Umesh, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mark and Ara, for having me. This is a lot of fun.
Dude, okay, so we got to address the elephant in the room, or the studio in the room.
Are we the elephants?
No. This is the elephant as I point around the room. So usually when we hire, we did not hire him. He's not even getting paid. If anything, we've all lost money on this. Yes. When we ask our guests to come on to the show, we invite him over to our studio to do this. And when we invited Umesh to this show, he's like, I got you guys. Come to my studio. And you literally built this studio out for this episode.
Yes, just for this episode.
That's insane.
Some stuff I had, some stuff I invested in, but we're gonna use this for other things.
This is so cool, and like I'm sure you went through that whole like nerdy process of like looking for the right gear and the right lights. Like this, I feel like I was telling Mark, like I feel like we've peaked with this studio here. Like it's just downhill.
So like and subscribe for future episodes, which will have a slightly worse studio.
Also, did you get Mark's couch here? This looks like remarkably like your couch.
Did you also get yours from a street corner for free?
I can't answer that.
Okay. All right.
You know the one we normally shoot on got dragged home by D off of a street corner.
Oh, that's
wow.
right. Okay.
Oh, wow.
This
This is like legendary origin stories for the sofa.
It's an affordable sofa.
Amazing.
So we have money for radios.
Oh, good. Yeah, of course.
True. Right.
That's what we all do. So, for folks who know this show, you know that we like to usually ask our guests to bring on a drink for us to taste and enjoy, and sort of an icebreaker. So you chose to bring tequila.
I brought two different bottles.
Two different bottles. It's my Achilles heel, so I'm going to take it easy with that one. But
okay.
I am really excited to try because those bottles look fantastic. So, Umesh, what did you bring for us today?
Well, we have some glasses, first and foremost. So I'm going to
Ooh, wow.
those there. And
fancy.
we have
For those who are listening, he just pulled out the most beautiful collection of... What kind of glasses are these?
These are called Glencairn glasses.
Glencairn glasses.
Yeah, they're shaped in a way that kind of helps the beverage, aerate a little bit, and the tightening near the mouth of the glass is helped for nosing. So you can put your nose in there to smell the fluids.
Nice. Get the aromatics out.
The spirit.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
So they're typically used in the whiskey world, but we're punching them out here. They work great for all sorts of different drinks.
Yeah. So what's the bottle?
So the bottle is a company called G4, and this is a Reposado. We also have a G4 Blanco. And
Good luck, Ara.
Oh, here we go.
yeah, so G4 is a company that has been making tequila for quite some time. That's all traditionally made. It's really funny because during the pandemic, we kind of started, you have time to do things.
Yeah, right.
They started researching tequilas, and there's like a whole, subculture around like traditionally made additive-free tequilas. So what we have here is something that is a mix between rainwater, spring water, all traditionally made. I mean, you're talking like stone brick oven, and I don't know. It just tastes good.
Oh,
like,
dude.
Yeah. So if you guys are interested,
Yeah,
of
let's
course,
do
okay.
it. Very interested.
We'll
start with the
tequila.
You had me with tequila. Okay, guys.
Oh, man, that looks amazing. Woo.
That was a problem.
I don't know how to taste tequila in that, like, I don't know what to look for. And usually when I've had tequila, it's been kind of the cheap stuff. So I'm excited to try this fancier stuff.
So, Umesh, does this come with a worm in it?
Negative. No worms.
Is that a thing? What do you mean?
I would
It's a
consider
mezcal reference.
Oh, okay.
Mostly
Is that
cheaper
one of the-
mezcal.
Okay. Is it the one with the scorpion or something? Or no, never mind. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about.
I'd consider that to be an additive.
An additive. These are it is natural.
And for those of you who are here just for the Summits on the Air content, we will get there, I promise.
We promise. Hang on tight.
As soon as we add a little bit of electrolyte into Ara.
Yes. Ooh, that's a great segue. Okay, all right, we'll get to it. Because the next topic is all about electrolytes.
Mark?
Passing it over to Mark.
Why, thank you,
Me.
sir.
All right, we'll try to.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oop, bumping the microphone.
Cheers.
Resonance.
That was for our ASMR fans.
Now, I got to say, it has some fine legs on it.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, that smells fantastic.
And it's almost the color of a light Pinot Grigio or something.
Yeah.
It's very clear.
So you've noticed, a Reposado has spent a little time in a barrel, but you'll find that you go to a store where they sell such thingamajigs. You'll find some that's crazy dark, like caramel color dark. Well, oftentimes that's been added,
Oh,
right? So I forgot
so this
all
like
the
takes the natural color of the
barrel.
Of the barrel. Wow.
Yeah. So you have blancos, which is usually clear, reposados, añejos, and then extra añejos, which have spent the most time in a barrel.
all right.
Should we go for a sip?
cheers.
Well,
Cheers.
let's try it.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. That doesn't usually. Okay. Well, I keep drinking the cheap stuff, but that stuff burns. This stuff is smooth and delightful.
Sipping tequila, not shooting tequila.
Yeah. No.
Well, and
would
if
not shoot.
anybody
This is
has
fantastic.
had agave syrup,
Is that what
this,
it tastes like?
yeah, it has the same notes that you would get out of an agave syrup, but of course in a more fermented and distilled form. The brief silence is us appreciating the beauty that is this creation.
Yes.
Interesting tidbit. Actually takes a long time to make tequila.
Really?
The agave from, I've heard anywhere between just say average 7 years, plus or minus.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I did not know that. I know whiskey does obviously, but I didn't realize
Well, we're
tequila.
talking about aging it. I'm talking about just the
process of
cultivation of
making
the
it.
plant and all that
Oh
stuff.
my gosh.
Yeah. Whiskey spends most of his time in a barrel, but it wasn't the cultivation of all the core ingredients to actually make the spirit,
Damn,
to
dude.
get it to distillation.
So where in Mexico is this from?
Tequila.
Is it really?
I think Jalisco.
Jalisco. Yeah. So Jalisco is sort of like the Isla of the South.
Yeah.
Well, it tastes really good. That's what I know.
Thank you for bringing it to share.
Yeah.
My pleasure, guys.
All right, ready for topic one?
Let's do it.
All right. So, a fun. Actually, I figured jumping into this topic, and I'll start with the story of how I heard about you first before I met you.
Okay.
It was field day of last year, and I got a phone call from Mark. Mark was doing field day with the W6 TRW club. I was doing it with another club. And, we both called each other after and we're just gushing about how crazy it was and amazing it was. And he was like, dude, there was this guy who showed up. His name is Umesh. This guy just he made his own batteries and set up everything. And he's he has this whole system down. He had all these fantastic ideas for what we want to do next. And he was just going off for 10 minutes straight about all the cool batteries and stuff you build. And that's the first subject for today, batteries, which is your passion.
Yeah, I love it, man. It's a creative outlet for me, to be quite honest. So
Yeah. So like, where did that all start? Like, how did you get into this? One of many hobbies, as we learned about.
dude, my path with electronics and batteries and everything, it probably just, I don't know, I had like a model train set. I electrocuted myself as a child, which, that's a thing. I think that was probably the epicenter of the entire thing.
Genesis,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
birth of all
Well, there's
this.
more to that story, though.
There is.
Can we get the specifics of that one?
You want to go? You want to jump there first?
Just a short version.
I think I wasn't even a teenager yet, maybe 7, 8 years old. And, I found a key. I took the said key. I stuck it in a light socket. Nothing happened. I was like, oh, this is great. Took it out, put it in the other end. I got electrocuted. And from a very early age, I knew that those two were not the same. So that's when I learned. Yeah, that's what I learned as a hot and a neutral.
To our viewers, please don't try this
No,
experiment.
don't do that, please.
Learn from Umesh.
Yeah, learn from my
Learnings.
mistakes, but I also learned from doing, and that was a large part of it. Was just playing. I used to take things apart all the time.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
And then playing with batteries turned into a thing. I think that my first proper introduction to batteries was my first RC car. Right, and I remember just like they used to charge slow. They weren't lithium-ion batteries; they were like nickel metal hydride or whatever other chemistries that predated that. Right, and then. Like I used to charge these things like crazy, and I had a very simple charger. It was just like you connect the battery, you turn a knob, and you just wait. And I was just like, oh, cool. Even after racing the car, putting it back in, I used to do a ridiculous thing. I blew a fuse on the thing once. I'm like, oh, now I can't drive the thing. I couldn't get any fuses. I was young. I didn't know anything. I put a paperclip in it.
A paperclip technically is a fuse.
It is. If you put enough amperage through anything can be a fuse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For the viewers at home, replacing your fuses with paper clips is not encouraged.
Anytime I give a presentation, we have large disclaimers on things. So, batteries, electricity, all of this is dangerous stuff, but, there's a lot to learn on this particular topic. Yeah.
Well, and when you've learned it, then you can do it safely.
Yeah, for sure. And that was the thing. Like, I find that, throughout my chats with people, a lot of people stray away from lithium-ion batteries, right? I mean, they'll gladly buy something off the shelf, but it's like, I think the general consensus is that they're very dangerous, right? And bad things can happen.
Sure, yeah,
But we've seen bad things happen with all sorts of types of batteries. It's just stored energy.
Yeah.
And if you start using things outside of their recommended parameters, that's when bad things happen, right? So the whole goal with any sort of battery is to keep, everything within like a reasonable operating parameter.
Yeah,
right?
set by the manufacturer,
Yeah,
who hopefully has
exactly.
put some margin on that.
Sure.
So when did you start building batteries for ham radio in particular? Because I feel like every time, at least I've talked to you, a lot of your focus has been building these packs for ham radio, but I'm sure you've used it for many other things.
Yeah.
As
So,
well.
but ham radio kind of started later, right? I was always trying to, maybe LED lighting projects, camping. One of my first DIY projects, it wasn't even a lithium battery. It was taking a 30 cal ammo can and putting a sealed lead acid battery in there, and had the Anderson IO for a solar charge controller and, all that stuff. So it started with a necessity, and that was getting power into places that I needed it to be. And, I used to do a lot of camping, and that single box device, I had the same tent I brought to, field day. I used to throw like a solar panel on top of it, have my power, I had like a whole power infrastructure on my thing. And that was all to power a 12-volt heated blanket.
Umesh doesn't just have good tequila, he has good everything.
I like comfort, man.
Good taste for comfort, man. Yeah, no.
For people who are listening and might be thinking to themselves, well, I can go on Amazon and buy a battery, a Jackery or one of these standard batteries. What's the benefit of building your own? Why did you start doing that?
You customize it to exactly what you want it for. Plus, if you get batteries from the right places, you can save a ton of money. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at what the cost of some of these 1 kilowatt hour systems are.
Oh my gosh,
crazy
insane.
expensive,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And plus, most all my loads are just native DC. So like they always package an inverter with these things. I don't need it. I don't use it, and I'm just adding additional inefficiency.
Yeah.
To the
'cause it's
conversion
gonna have a
process.
loss, right? Yeah.
So that was kind of a part of it.
Yeah. So, and the native DC is you just have a voltage between two terminals, And then the inverter, you're converting it to an alternating current.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's similar to what you would get out of a wall.
Correct. 100%.
So if you're not plugging in a hair dryer from your bathroom, you don't need the AC, right?
Yeah, sometimes you can't get around it. Like Doug wanted to bring a coffee machine to the last field day.
Oh, sure.
You're not powering that off DC.
Right.
You need an inverter to get 120 volts, right? So, but if you buy the right stuff, or you look at the spec sheet of your electronics and it says, hey, I have this device and you can feed 12 to 24 volts into it, find a battery within that range and let it fly.
Dude, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And in ham radio, there's a lot of people who have specifically selected things like a Jankopotamus laptop.
Yes.
A laptop that will accept a DC input instead of requiring something with a AC inverter.
Right on.
Yeah, or like some ridiculous voltage, like 19 volts, which like no battery packs naturally would get to, which then you need some regulators. And
Yeah,
stuff
like
that.
in a perfect world, you'd want to match the battery operating range to the device. But if you can't do that, then that's when, DC to DC buck and boost converters come in. To kind of stabilize the voltage, right?
For sure. And we actually have a question about that later, but we'll get to that soon.
So you were building the batteries originally for things like heated blankets and general comfort.
Yeah, lighting, whatever it is. Just any off-the-wall project that you might, feed power to. Radio, I've had radio stuff for quite some time, so radio is always a part of it, right? But even just emergency preparedness, a little mini solar generator, being able to charge your phone. Sometimes it doesn't take much to actually get a lot of use out of it, right?
100%.
So,
yeah.
Well, I can kind of elaborate on that too, because when I did the off-road, we talked about off-road stuff. I did a long road trip, and one of my criteria for that was because I did another trip where I actually got food poisoning because I wasn't able to keep food safe because off-road you can't just re-up on ice, right? Like where are you gonna go? To get ice? So I ended up learning about native DC fridges that you can put in cars.
They don't run on AC power. Wow.
Yeah, well, they have dual power, but they always, like if you put it in an RV, it'll always use DC, or sorry, it'll default to AC and then fail over to DC.
Oh, that's
like
awesome.
if you had your thing running. Your camper.
Sure.
But they're native DC fridges. So like ARB is the company I'm aware. There's so many different options now, but that was a brand that was like off-road marketed, and I essentially put a fridge/freezer in the vehicle. So we are not in the middle of the desert eating ice cream, so can't really go wrong with that.
All right, so you've got a heated blanket at night, and then you have ice cream during the day.
Yeah,
All right. Can we get to the field day battery system? I want to get specific for how this can change what you do with ham radios.
He's like, I got to take a sip of this
Yeah,
all right.
tequila before we get into that subject.
A sip of the fine tequila, and then we'll talk about field day.
So the battery I brought to field day was already something that was constructed. I didn't build it for field day. And then mind you, by the way, that was my very first field day before I jump into the battery.
Can I give the field day backstory?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So field day, if you're not familiar, is a annual event hosted by the American Radio Relay League where a whole bunch of hams go out into the field and they operate portable radios. There are bonus points that you can earn by doing things that demonstrate good emergency preparedness. One of those is getting rid of grid power and using emergency power. You can also get points for using less power to show that you're efficient. So if you use battery power or solar and you run at only 5 watts, there's a lot of bonus points available. It's a 5x multiplier. So when Umesh came into the club, we were transitioning from gas generators and 100-watt stations to batteries and 5-watt stations. But we were having trouble fielding the right batteries and figuring out how to spec those to get all those bonus points. So we had a hole in our community, which is who can figure out the right power system for a 24-hour continuous event with multiple stations and laptops all running simultaneously, all with current draw. So that's where Umesh came in.
Yeah, and first field day ever. I got so excited. I'm just like, okay, well, and then I think Mark is very good at stacking responsibility onto your plate. So
it became your job.
It became my job. Yeah. So, but in any case, I brought what I thought was going to be needed for that event. I've never been to one before, and it turned out great. It was a blast. I was operating some of the VHF station. I let a few other operators borrow some batteries. I remember, just putting it on the operating table and just, I had a couple Y connectors and a little breakout Anderson thing. And everyone was just plugging things into it to kind of get it to, to get power from it.
Sure.
And, that was like very exciting to me because, it's, anytime you just slam batteries with more load makes me happy. As long as they don't catch on fire, we're all good, right? But
and at that field day, if I remember correctly, the battery you brought had a monitor system in, so you could look at the load on the battery with your phone, right?
Yeah. So a lot of smaller packs, if you buy them commercially, they're probably just a simple PCB that, there's no like reporting or monitoring. And I think this device started kind of on the e-bike world of things. But if you go on AliExpress, there's a couple companies like Dolly, JBC, or JBD, not JBC.
JBC makes cool solder irons.
They do. Yeah. They make amazing soldering irons. But they make Bluetooth connected or Bluetooth enabled BMS boards. And the thing that I found the most interesting about them, and this is like if you're building a small pack, this is like a significant premium. I mean, you're talking about maybe $1 or $2 for a BMS versus something that could be like $50. Right. So that adds like a large cost to the battery. So this is why I started building bigger batteries, because it just makes more sense to do that. Right. But that allowed me to do two things that you can't do with other BMSs. You can program them, your min-max voltages, your maximum discharge rates, your short circuit current protection. You have basically fully programmed what it is you want as your operating parameters. So that allowed you flexibility with chemistry and also adding headroom in your own designs.
Oh, so the BMS knew what kind, like you could tell it, hey, I've hooked up lithium ion or lithium like iron phosphate, and it knew how to like profile
You usually
those.
buy it based off a chemistry type, but there's nothing but that I believe it's just a pre-program.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, absolutely.
And other than that, there's some MOSFETs on there, resistors on there that allow you to kind of self-balance. But more importantly is, if anyone's ever worked with an RC battery, you'll find that there's a JSD pigtail on there to allow you to get the individual cell group voltages. And that's super important, because if you typically have a battery and you put a multimeter to it, you'll just see 12.5 volts. But you don't know if that 12.5 or that 12 volts is made up of 3, 3, 3, 3, or like 4.
And you're talking about cells, right? Yeah.
Cell
So,
groups.
Yeah.
Right.
It's probably a good idea to talk about a little bit about these batteries aren't made up of one block that's 12 volts. It's really made up of cells.
Yeah.
Right?
So everyone's familiar with a car battery, right? And that just has 2 terminals and it gives you 12 volts. But internally, it's constructed with multiple cell groups, right? And even on the lead acid world, that is how batteries are constructed. Usually 6 of them inside a battery. Right?
So maybe you could comment on series versus parallel. So if you've got some cells, and I see you have some on the
we
table
did.
there.
We brought some show and tell stuff.
Yeah, so if you have some cells, how do you connect them into a cell group, and what effect does that have on the voltage?
So if you have batteries in series, you are going to be increasing the voltage for each battery that you add. So if a battery is 3 volts, you add another one in series, it becomes 6. You add another one, it becomes 9, right? One more becomes 12. When you add batteries in parallel, which is basically connecting the plus to the plus and the minus to the minus, right? That allows you to increase the capacity, not the voltage. So depending on the size of the pack, the voltage of the pack that you need, you will add a variety of batteries in both parallel and in series to achieve, 1, the voltage, your target voltage, and then 2, a capacity that's going to work for that application.
And so for field day, did you sort of go in with like a rough idea of like how many, I almost want to say like how many joules of energy did you think you would need, or how much power did you think you'd need to be able to provide continuously for 24 hours? Like, did that go into any of the calculus, or was it sort of like...
It didn't, because I wasn't expecting to start feeding everyone else's stuff, right?
Well, but your face when you started watching the load on that battery with that monitoring system and seeing how many watt hours were being pulled out of it, you look so excited.
Yeah, I was happy.
That was one of the highlights of field day.
What was going on?
Because the higher wattage we got, that just meant there were multiple people transmitting all at the same time, right? We're just flooding the globe with RF. That's an exciting thing,
Were you worried about losing capacity? Like if you'd have enough for the day?
No, because I'm monitoring it, and I did bring an extra. So I think I brought 2 batteries that trip. One was a 850 watt hour built all out of 18650 cells.
Whoa.
Right. And then the other one was, I believe, 1.5 kilowatt hours. So
Oh my
1500 watt hours.
Yeah.
And those were larger. And I don't have one to share for, this show, but it's a larger prismatic cell. And I've become accustomed to working with those because there's a lot of work that has to go into spot welding or connecting electrically all these individual cells.
Like the
to make a
cylindrical
battery.
cells.
Yeah, like 18650s.
And then, so there's cylindrical cells like 18650s, and then there's prismatic.
Yeah, prismatic. So prismatic cells are something that basically just looks like a bigger rectangle. Internally, construction might be slightly different, but for the most part, it's kind of the same. The cell that I kind of stay away from the most are pouch cells because there's no like exoskeleton to protect it from catastrophe.
Where would you typically find people using a pouch cell?
Oh my God. Your cell phones, your laptops.
Yeah.
So, like it's
You're
funny.
saying I'm in danger right now.
Yeah. If it gets puffy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If this MacBook gets puffy, I'm out of here.
So there's a term in the battery world called spicy pillow. So if you have a pouch cell, if you've ever seen it puffed up, that's a spicy pillow.
Yeah.
Spicy pillow. Okay.
Yeah, and they usually, I mean, like I think like Apple and like more, I'm sure Samsung and whatnot all have like advanced technology to keep that battery from getting to that state, but
Yeah, but that's
it requires a lot of money.
That's all
and-
battery management systems.
Yeah, and BMSs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
BMSs. That's all it is. Because for the most part, without getting into like all the intricacies about all these exotic chemistries and things that are available, lithium ion battery packs, for the most part, have a nominal voltage of either 3.6 or 3.7, the middle voltage, and like somewhere around the 2.8 to 3 is the floor and 4.2 is the max charge. And if you look at a lot of spec, you can even pull a Yaesu radio and you'll look at the voltage on the thing and you can tell just by looking at the voltage that this is a 2S thing. Like a 2S battery.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Just, figure out what number divides cleanly into that
exactly,
voltage. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to move from 2024 field day batteries and see what you did for 2025 because you showed up again and you brought the power.
Bigger
Yeah,
battery.
so Mark continued on his trajectory of adding more homework on my plate. But in all seriousness, I was so energized after my first field day. I was just absolutely. I went home and I could not sleep. Like I was just like, dude, I feel like we just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I'm sure you had tons of ideas flying
yeah,
through your
yeah,
head.
yeah.
And we had won the category.
Yeah, we did, and even Emery closing out that last what was it?
The Virgin Islands.
Yeah, Virgin Islands. Oh my God! Like we were like 3 a.m. Camp erupts and just cheer. I'm just like I'm like I went back to sleep. I'm like sitting in my tent. I'm just like I cannot go to sleep.
You're like
I'm
wide
so
awake.
wired. Yeah, just thinking about all the things we're gonna do next year.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
And that's kind of what spooled up, my next project. And this is essentially what we built as part of our power distribution for the battery pack.
Oh, cheers to that.
Take a sip of tequila.
That tequila is so good.
It's so
I'll
fantastic.
bring a closer view. So in this battery pack, actually, sorry, I'm gonna back up for a second. This is not a battery pack. This is a breakout box for my battery pack, because the main issue we ran into last field day wasn't that we didn't have enough power, was that we didn't have enough I/O.
Oh, there's just too many people demanding laptops
Too many things, and
radios.
if you've
and
ever
whatnot.
looked at any operating bench, it's a mess.
Oh, yeah.
We
We
got
started running out of Y splitters.
Yes, yeah.
There were
Were there
cables.
paper clips involved?
Fortunately, nobody's willing to hook a paperclip to an Elecraft KX2.
So what we did in this particular box. Now going back to we were talking about voltage and all these things. All the batteries that I brought to field day were all pre-built already. They were all 7S, meaning 7 cells in series. That equates roughly to 24 volt lead acid voltages. So 2 car batteries in series. Right? That's not ham radio.
Yeah,
12 volt is ham radio.
Yeah, 12 volt
right?
or 13.8.
Right,
Yeah. So those were built for my camping projects, right? Because a lot of this, RV related things are native 24. So in this particular box, I'm going to move my mic so I can talk right here. We have a fuse block in here. We have a DC to DC converter that goes from a 24 volt range to 13.8, right? The 2 blue inputs are in parallel. This is basically the input to this box. And the reason I did that is because I did not want anyone to be able to pick up an Anderson plug it into their radio, and then blow it up.
And blow it up.
Engineering controls are golden.
Yep.
So my goal here was to say, hey, I'm not the only one, because I put Andersons on everything. It's like Frank's hot sauce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We all do.
But the biggest advantage of an Anderson power poles is also the biggest weakness. You could plug literally anything into anything, right? So if you're not aware of what you're plugging into the thing, is a big problem.
Yeah.
You can build antennas out of Anderson.
Yeah.
Right. And like you could try to color code it too, but like even then you could still make a mistake.
The thing is, the right way to do it is not color coding; is to key the connector, right? But now you killed the compatibility.
Yeah.
Right. So why not just pick a different connector?
I love it.
Right. So this connector is called a Nutric PowerCon connector. It's found primarily in the pro audio world for AC power distribution. So technically, I'm not applying it correctly. I searched far and wide for like a native 24 volt connector, and this is the first iteration of the box, but I plan on kind of changing it up too. I like this because you can find off-the-shelf accessories.
Whoa, what is that?
It's just a coupler for a PowerCon.
Whoa. Oh, cool.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
the camera.
and you can find so many accessories and cables that are pre-built for that, but essentially that's the input power to the box. It hits the DC to DC, then from the DC to DC goes into a fuse block, and from the fuse block it feeds a variety of Anderson power poles and a couple panel mounts that have USB-C and USB-A connectors on them. Those panel mount accessories also have 2 voltmeters. So I have one on the 24 volt side and one on the 13.8. So not only can I monitor the battery voltage, just as a quick thing, because I always have to keep opening the app.
Of course. Yeah, you got like a rough idea of where it is in capacity.
And I know what the output is just 13.8. If I see something funny there, at least I can I can catch something before something goes wrong,
you know where the problem is. It's like, the regulator is wrong. There's voltage going in, but nothing coming out. And
because we're running 24, I can run smaller gauge cable. Right,
so less I squared R losses, like energy lost to the wire.
Right. And there's the reason there's 2 of them is so I can daisy chain a box after the next box.
Oh, there's another one on the other side.
You can just keep running them.
Right.
So this lets us set up multiple tables.
That's awesome.
Have people down the entire length of the table, and then everybody has an accessible Anderson plug regulated for their radio wherever they're sitting.
Oh, and it's got USB PD, so you can charge your phones. Some laptops even. Yeah.
So I have a mic. I don't have a Jankopotamus per se, but I have an old Microsoft Surface.
Sure.
And I found an adapter and basically just made my own. You can feed 13.8 into it. It's fine,
nice.
right? So
it's fine. It doesn't cook.
yeah, it doesn't cook. And even if it does, it gives me an excuse to buy another one.
Another one.
I think it's old, dude.
I think it's worth noting DC to DC has a little bit of a bad reputation for being RF noisy.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And we tested these. We didn't see any problems with RF noise from that DC to DC stage.
I'm really hoping someone could find it and call it out if there is, because I remember Chris, call sign, KDL.
WA2 KDL.
WA2
Chris,
KDL.
Chris, yes.
Yeah. You know, he one of the first things he advised me is noise. Like, how do we know this is RF quiet? And, you know, I can only go off, because I operate mostly 2 meter 70, right? And I've never experienced that there. So I was relying on the HF boys, right, to bring some
Turn
data.
it down. No.
Yeah. So, but no one's found anything yet.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they are or not, but we haven't noticed any.
Now, I will say I have a very cheap 10-watt solar panel that I occasionally bring. And I was having a problem with an activation where I had an unshielded 49er radio, which is a very small, very low quality, but affordable radio. And you can do Morse code with it. Built it for 40 meters, and I couldn't hear anything.
That's amazing.
Nothing. And it took me half an hour before I realized that everything I was hearing, 100% of it, was the noise coming off the USB converter plugged into that solar panel.
I see.
Yeah, and
So if there is
yeah.
noise, it can be unsubtle. Like it'll just blow out your radio if you're not careful.
You know, are we not noticing noise because of the modes that we're operating? Digital, for example?
We were doing
bands
sideband.
too.
We were doing Morse code. If it had been there, we would have seen it in the noise floor. And it just wasn't there.
Or it could manifest in different ways, right? So one could be if the radio doesn't have a good filter, it can pick it up if the noise is nearby from the switching regulator. The what else was there? There's another one. Sometimes you may be in CW mode and you have a very narrow bandwidth, and the noise is like whistling away, a few kilohertz off. But if you go over there and try to operate, you're not going to hear anything. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to a lot of these switching mode regulators. They switch at a fixed frequency a lot of the time, and those switched frequencies have harmonics. And if you get unlucky, like they picked 1 megahertz and it multiplied up to 14 meg, and now suddenly you have a spurious emission right there. It's gonna cause problems. But sometimes you get lucky and the harmonics just don't line up across the band. So it's good. I mean, the way I always tell people about this stuff is test it.
Sure.
If you got a new regulator before you go out to do field day, before you go out to do your field activation. So frankly, I've broken my own rule on this. Just gone out to the field and tested it. Hop around the bands and see where you hear, and sweep across the band to see if there's any like whistlers and random noise.
I now that we're kind of bringing it up, I have a FTDX10.
Oh,
and on that particular radio, I have seen noise coming off of DC to DC converters.
Oh, okay. So it's all the way up there in like the UHF VHF range?
No.
FTDX10. I'm sorry, that's an HF radio.
So I'm operating 10 meter.
10 meter, right?
10 meter voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on 2025 field day you want to hit? Because I want to go and talk about field testing batteries.
Yeah, we can jump into that. The only thing that I think I would have to finish this up is I plan on doing a lithium iron phosphate build because of the things like the noise concerns. Mm-hmm. So my next iteration, I want to change chemistry, change voltage, and have something more native. And the other last thing, and I don't know if this is going to take place, but I thought it would be cool to be able to meter, if we could get one battery pack large enough to meter in each output per operator, so we can actually see consumption per band.
Who's the least efficient?
Yeah, who's the least efficient? I don't know exactly how we're going to do that yet, because you basically need a shunt for each output, right?
Right. To measure the current that each person's consuming.
Right.
And this last 2025 field day, we had a wildly inefficient station because we had one operator who did not have a QRP radio. They just took a full bench radio
and dialed it down to 5 watts.
And that radio, that radio was burning, I think it was like, 100 watts?
We killed a 1 kilowatt hour battery just
for him?
Yeah, but I think that's also because he left the AC inverter on overnight that was powering
so we had this one station that was just setting the batteries on fire and everybody else was just sipping.
I think we brought 4.5 kilowatts. We came back with like a third of it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we used a pretty good amount of power. That was also powering Starlink too.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Actually, I shouldn't say that because Adam was fully self-sufficient. He didn't want to plug in my battery.
Yeah,
That's okay, buddy.
Adam, what up, dude? Come on.
All right. I want to talk about field testing a very special battery that you made to go party with me.
Yeah.
So Ara introduced me to the beauty of doing 100 watts for SOTA, which is a kind of ridiculous thing to do because it's completely unnecessary. It's going to a mountaintop and screaming into the universe and giving everybody a chance to hear you when you need 4 contacts. And so it's silly. It's fun. It's
a blast every time.
It's a blast.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
The problem is, if you're going to carry a 100-watt radio, you have to carry a 100-watt capable battery. And 100-watt radios don't take 100 watts. They take 100-something watts because of efficiency losses. And the canonical battery for this is a 12-volt, 12-amp-hour lithium iron phosphate. It's a great battery, but it's a block. It's a big piece of material. And so I asked Umesh, hey, buddy, could you do the 100-watt thing but shrink the battery? And Umesh said, not a problem. So how did you solve that problem?
I solved the problem by picking the right type of battery. So, when you go 18650 shopping, right, you'll find batteries are kind of categorized in 2 different things. You have your high drain batteries. These are things that are found in like your portable vacuum cleaner, your power tools, all of the high discharge, high load items, right? Even things like e-bikes and scooters.
Sure.
And then you have your power density cells, and those are essentially things like low load drain devices like a laptop. You know, you're not hammering that with like 700 watts of intermittent peak load.
Sure.
You know, type thing,
You
right?
care about like capacity. Like you want to like sip out of it and
Right.
last a long time versus just blasting it out.
So the I'm going to pivot back to the mat here.
Ooh.
So that's a charger that has nothing to do with this conversation. But I like it a lot. And then this is essentially the battery that we built. And you can see that there's no BMS in this one. And I might as well throw what a BMS looks like out here too. So most batteries that you purchase commercially will have a battery management system in there. They oftentimes look like some variant of that. But because I use a charger like this, I have a pigtail that allows me to understand and monitor what this would be typically seeing. So I have moved the BMS off board. That's all I've done here.
So there isn't a circuit board in there right now. It's just cells.
It's just cells.
Interesting.
Yeah. And essentially this one is good for 2 amps of charge and 20 amps of discharge. And it's essentially made using those purple cells right there. So inside of that battery pack is essentially directly to the right of it, which is that purple arrangement where you have 2 cells in parallel and each one of those groups are in series to make up your 12 volt pack.
So when we started this project, you asked me to start carrying a little meter out into the field so that we could get real-time data on current draw on different bands.
Right.
What?
Yeah. So we had a whole data set that said for this specific radio, which was a Yaesu FT857D. So it's a it does
A
100
discontinued radio, but a very good one.
wonderful radio. It does 160 meters up to 70 centimeters at varying efficiencies. It turns out it's way worse on 2 meters. I mean, it'll pull almost 160 watts.
Oh,
or so.
just to output 100 watts?
50.
Or 50?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really
the
inefficient.
efficiency is not good.
Oh my God.
So that's why we did the testing. We took this out into the field and then I ran it. And so we actually did charge counting with these things and figured out exactly how many watt hours do I need with what peak current for that specific radio to do a 1 hour, 100 watt activation.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, you've nerd sniped me. What did you use to monitor that?
So you know the inline power meter, like you can get from PowerWorks or Tenergy or all these things.
Of course.
Because it totalizes.
Yeah.
Along,
So you got to be monitoring the current draw to see what the peak is, to know what the peak current is going to be, though. But
so some of my projects have exceeded the capability of that little box. But for what we do here in ham radio, it's like perfect, right? Because it's an all-in-one device that allows you to do your voltage monitoring, your total amps, your total watt hours consumed, and your max amp peak.
right.
Peak, right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of rolls through those statistics. The second you disconnect from power, you lose it all.
Right.
Right. And what I've done on my larger projects is basically use a logging fluke meter to kind of accomplish the same thing. So I don't know if you've heard of Fluke Connect, but you can create like a little mini network, right? So I can have like, I look at voltage drop across a distance, and then I also look at the current draw, right? But you got to bring it all into the computer, into Excel, and then do the graphing, because for some reason Fluke can't do math in the device. It would be nice if you could, But so that's what I've done. But as far as any ham radio person that is interested in understanding what's happening with power, even if you have no interest in batteries, having something like that in line will also help you gas gauge how much power you might have left in your battery pack and when you might need to charge it. Because lithium iron phosphate, it's a relatively flat discharge curve. Hard to tell.
Yeah. It's hard to tell until the very end and you fall off
Right,
the end.
exactly.
Yeah.
So are these lithium iron phosphate?
No, these are lithium ion chemistry.
And I was talking to Adam, K6ARK, and when I first told him you were going to use lithium ion, his reaction was, well, that's not going to work very well with the 857D. How did you solve that? And why was that a problem?
So it would be a problem if you fully charged a 4.2 volts per cell, because if you look at the spec sheet, and everyone, look at your spec sheets of the radios. Nothing on this show should be deemed as like instructions.
Yeah.
Except for not using paper clips.
Yeah.
Do not,
As your fetus.
we do not provide any legal advice.
So 13.8 volts plus or minus 15%. That's what it says on the spec sheet for my mobile radio, right? So essentially you can actually get just under, I charge to about 15.5 volts. It's not a fully charged battery pack, but it's also not good to leave your battery pack sitting at 100% all the time. So it's like this nice emergency preparedness area where it's like, I have this pack, I built it, I know how it works, I can partially charge it, and I can store it at that, right? And then it's literally ready to use. And the reason I don't put BMS, I build a lot of different batteries, but my emergency pack batteries don't have BMSs in them. And there's a reason why. Is because I've literally found the BMS killing a battery of like parasitic drain.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what you're saying
just
is
a little bit of current all the time when it's connected. Yeah. And you have to keep topping it off to keep it from killing it. Yeah.
So what you're saying is you were able to use lithium ions, which would otherwise fully charged have too much voltage and would kill the radio, by using an external charger and intentionally undercharging them to stay exactly within the radio's spec.
Yeah, so if you were to use a 3S configuration, it would actually be below the recommended range. And I had this conversation with Adam too, because, a lot of the SOTA mountaintopper type radios, they have a hard limit on the top. And it's a perfect build for 3S, right? So 3 cells in series, I have a little, I had this conversation with Dylan as well, who's the president of our W6 TRW club. He asked me, can you solder the cells? And I said, I've seen a lot of people do it, but it's not best practice because now you're heat soaking the cell and things like that. And to that, I would say use something like this cell holder. And I've seen a lot of printed circuit board projects. All of this could be soldered. And you essentially, with a cell holder like this and a BMS, you could build yourself a nice little 3S battery and use it for SOTA.
Yeah, because and like typically when you build these packs, they're like strips of like metal that get like spot welded on very quickly.
Nickel strips,
yeah. So you don't like burn up and heat up the battery and damage it. But like not everybody's got a spot welder. Adam does, but not everybody. So that's a great like intermediate solution.
So what we did with this is once we had built it to spec, saving, I'd point out, over 50% of the weight of the batteries that we had to carry, which is a big savings.
Wow, yeah.
We took it out and did SOTA with it. Because you had said the thing to do with batteries is field test. So what we did, we took it out and we field tested.
Yeah. And you have a video of that too.
And we do. We have
on your channel?
It's a live stream that we did. There was cell phone service, and so we actually live streamed testing the battery and draining it down and making contacts with it.
It was a beautiful spot too. It was right over overhead power lines with such a noisy environment.
Sporty place to do that.
But it performed admirably, and it was really cool seeing it from taking specifications from a real-world application, designing the cell geometry, picking out the cell chemistry, building it up, and then deploying it and seeing, does it do what we want it to do? And critically, there is no commercial alternative. You cannot buy that pack.
Yeah, I imagine it's also sort of a liability because if you abuse the battery, there's no protection system to stop it. So you have to be very conscious about how you use it.
I mean, if you overcharged it, you could destroy your radio.
And that, exactly.
So that charger I like because you can set your maximum charge voltage. I literally have a preset on that just called Yesu. Right?
Brilliant.
So when I put this back in there, I know. And then usually when I'm operating, I will hook up, they call them little cell monitors, very normal in the RC world, because the reason RC packs don't have BMS boards in there is because if you ever worked with RC cars, the amp draw is insane. You're not going to push that through a PCB and have a failure point and things like that. So what they end up doing is putting a little device on here which will alarm. So as they're flying their model around, if they can audibly hear it, they know to land the thing.
Land it.
Right?
Nice.
So I essentially do the same thing when I'm operating these. I'll put one of these alarm things on there, and if it starts alarming, then we know to pull the pack and stop using
that's
it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you don't have to hook up expensive off-board components. There are inexpensive solutions that allow you to kind of keep things safe.
Yeah, and it doesn't. And you take it off when you're done, so it doesn't drain those cells out, right?
But if there's my recommendation is to anyone who's building is always build with the BMS first, right? And then,
of course,
and then kind of do that. But I'm taking that responsibility into my own purview when I build packs like this.
Yeah.
Right? But Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was gonna say this is actually a fantastic segue to the Patreon questions.
Oh, okay.
So first and foremost, thank you to Tom AA3TZ, Alan VK3XE, and Evan VA3ZZA. Tom was already a member since our last episode, but Alan and Evan, thank you so much for joining our Patreon. There'll be a link in the description below where you can join. And so what we like to do with our Patreon is ask our patrons to ask our guest questions. And so the first question comes from Tom, and he was asking, what's a good starter project for somebody who's battery curious? And you were talking about, people starting out in this. So what would you recommend for someone who wants to get into building their own batteries or batteries in general?
It's a good question.
It's a good question.
It's a good question. So I think just like most self-learners, there are plenty of YouTubers out there that have kind of focused on this. So if you searched a term called DIY Powerwall, that's where it all started for me.
For you?
For me.
Okay.
Because essentially the whole premise here was to take recycled batteries and repurpose them for stationary power projects. And from the small to the big, if you understand the fundamentals, all of this stuff scales.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in terms of starting, if you're doing this for ham radio, or if you want to do this for a lighting project or a small solar generator, right? Just depends on what it is. But let's just start with, I would pick something along the lines of a 3 or 4 cell configuration, depending on what you're trying to power. And you can go on Amazon or AliExpress or wherever and find a small 3 or 4S printed circuit board that's a BMS. And if you don't have a spot welder, nor do you feel like investing in one, pick up one of these cell trays and,
Oh, you put the board on the cell tray.
Put the board on the back, wire it all up, and don't even shrink wrap it. And I'll tell you why. Because buying a charger like this is a little bit of an investment. If you use a cell tray, you can just remove the batteries and put them in a standard 18650 charger.
Oh, and charge them that way.
And just charge them that way.
That's
like
handy.
your standard 4-bay chargers?
Yeah.
And depending on the 4-bay charger, highly recommend getting one. And if you do get one, make sure that it has the ability to capacity test the cell, because that is a fundamental step in checking the cells for health while you're collecting these things to build a pack.
And so what happens over time with that? Like, why would you check it?
I love this question because it's so important. So what is the purpose of the BMS? It's to check the balance of the cells. So let's just talk in something that's more visually easy to understand. Let's just talk about cups, like all the cups that we have on the table right there. There's 4 of them. They're obviously not the same cup, but if they were the same cup, right? Actually, they're good that they're different. Yeah. For the purpose of this conversation, you have 2 batteries there, 2 cups, cells. You take cells to make a battery. So the individual components are cells. You have 2 big cells, which are the taller ones, and you have 2 small cells. But physically, they're all the same shape. They're an 18650. And 18650 is really the dimensional portion of the cell. The taller cups can hold more power. So what ends up happening is if you charge all of them to 4.2, which is the top end, and you start draining them, or you start pouring water out of them, you will run out of juice.
Right, sure, yeah.
From the smaller cups before the larger. Now you have an imbalance in your pack. And that's what you're trying to prevent. So when you have these batteries, we can't visually just look at it to say this cup is larger than the other one and this battery can hold more than the other. We need to charge them full and then discharge them. And the discharged amount, the power you can take from the cell, is what you need to record. And if you look at these cells, I have writing on them. All of that writing is the capacity in milliamp hours.
Oh, of each one.
Yeah.
And like they've I assume they've degraded over time or are just slightly different just based on their build.
And I'm glad you said that.
Because they are different numbers.
Because I'll go and I'll pull the spec sheet for that. And I'll compare it to the manufacturer spec sheet. So there's 2 things that I want to know before I take the time and effort to build a pack. If you're going to do a small pack, you can just work with what you got, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're going to put 100 cells together and take the time to spot weld and do everything, and you got this one, rogue cell in there that's just bringing the whole party down, that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
So essentially what you want to do is you want to look at the capacity and you want to try to have all of that within a ballpark. And even if you have variation, that's okay. Add them up and make sure each group is kind of leveled out.
In the same
right?
family.
Because you're putting them in parallel.
Yeah, yeah.
And then check the internal resistance. Now that's a whole different thing. I have a dedicated tool for it, but a lot of those hobby chargers, they're called RC chargers or hobby chargers. This is common equipment in the RC world, but those chargers also can do capacity testing, charge, discharge, storage functions, and they can also measure the internal resistance of the cell. So for the most part, a charger like that, I consider them to be battery workstations, just like a fluke meter is to someone who's doing AC work or, DC work, just whatever, electrical. If you're working on batteries, a charger like that is essentially one of your core important devices.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that clarifies for Tom what a good starter project is.
Yeah. And a fantastic segue to the next question from Alan, asking about your favorite specific tools.
Ooh.
So crimpers, meters, like what should people have? What are your favorites and what should people have in their repertoire? Are we tequila? Is that the answer?
Tequila isn't a fantastic tool.
For our audio
Well,
viewers,
speaking of capacity test, I
Umesh
think
tried to
Aura
grab
ran
that.
out of juice.
oh yeah, I need to. Can you charge my
Absolutely. Dude, you enjoyed it then.
tequila? Oh, it was fantastic. I loved this.
I love
this
it.
is really
Wait,
good.
Would you like the-
if I drink the rest of this, is that cell balancing?
Yeah, it is.
Help.
Well, there we go. See, we fixed it.
This is the best demo of battery cells I have ever seen. Thank
right.
you. The most delicious one too.
We're gonna switch to
Ooh, you got the
G4. This is 108 proof
Only?
only. Mark, take your glass first.
All right. Umesh is very carefully and delicately pouring a 108 proof tequila into my glass.
We hope it doesn't catch fire.
There's always some risk of flames around here.
Yeah, of course.
So let's do a repeat of.
Our review of repeat of the question or repeat of the tasting. Actually, we should.
I was going to say the question.
Oh, okay.
We'll
Because it is a new tequila to
it
try,
is a
so
new-
I think we should try the
it
tequila.
is a clear color this time.
Yeah. So this is a Blanco,
Okay.
and essentially same G4, but it is a still strength. And you should be able to get that in the nose and in
Yeah.
the taste.
Oh, that is fantastic. Oh no, dead air. That's the sound of us tasting this. This is delicious. Oh my gosh. Oh, dude, that is
It's got
fantastic.
character, right?
Oh, it's got character. Again, I'm not good with the words.
Umesh,
but-
how would you describe this character? I was going to say alcoholic.
I was going to say sassy. Spicy.
Sassy.
Spicy.
It is
We're
spicy.
going with
Yeah.
spicy.
It's like a slightly puffed battery pack. It's ready to go.
Not to
Slightly
be
overcharged.
Slightly overcharged.
Yeah.
No, I love this. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so
course.
much. This is fantastic.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying it.
Yeah.
You know,
And,
I was never a tequila guy.
Really?
I was always kind of like whiskey, scotch, bourbon. And I have a friend in San Diego. He was like, we were talking about what's the best spirit. And he's like, tequila. I'm like, you know nothing. Right?
Right.
Apparently I wasn't drinking the right tequila. So I called him one day. I'm like, recommend me
Educate
3.
me.
Yeah. So I picked them, started doing research, and lo and behold, like my whole palate switched. This is what I like now.
Wow.
Tequilas. Yeah.
For the next
taste, man.
questions.
For the next questions, yes.
I actually would suggest that we do a hot take. What is your one favorite tool? 2 sentences on why.
If I can only select one.
Yeah.
One
You only
tool,
get one. One favorite tool.
The balance chargers.
Balance.
If we're talking about batteries, the world
Yeah.
of batteries.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy to say multimeter, but you're too limited.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's extending his sentence count by using commas.
I
That is a
completely,
great selection. That's a fantastic selection.
I completely disregarded the 2 sentences. But there's so much more, guys.
Yeah, of
You
course,
can't-
of course. Yeah.
Yes, but Alan, VK3XE, had a second question,
Perfect.
which is what silly things aren't we doing that we should be doing?
What silly things?
What amount of dumbness could you bring to batteries?
That you shouldn't be doing. Like what are we doing wrong, I think is the spirit of the question.
No, I'm reading this differently. What silly things aren't we doing that we should be doing?
I misread. Okay, fair enough.
No,
Okay,
like
Stress
silly-
testing.
ooh.
I love stress testing things. I would be doing more of it if I had like a fume hood.
So
I was about to say stress testing is kind of a dangerous game because, like, if you stress it too much, the consequences are kind of high.
It's not just the battery stress testing. You know, you don't want to stress test a battery to the point where it vents. There's no benefit for us. But what I do like to stress
is venting
test,
the equivalent of letting out the magic smoke?
yes, and you can't get it back in.
Yeah, okay.
in a very, very terrible
Yeah,
way.
yeah, very terrible way. So, stress testing batteries is one thing, but I look at batteries as a part of a complete system, right? So when we talk about stress testing, I'm talking about like, I've already mentioned Anderson power poles, literally one of my favorite connectors, my all-time favorite connectors, because I even make tools out of them. I'll splice my multimeter leads and put Andersons on them just so I can connect them to little grabby things or other, like I make my own tools.
Sure,
using
yeah.
Andersons,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And they're, there's no male female portion of it, so you can plug anything in anything, right? So, but the one thing that I have found with Andersons and the silly things is I start putting more current through it, like charging a battery.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's actually a relatively high resistance connector.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually have a video or a thermal test of this thing. I don't have the stats in front of me, but like at 20,
You put a thermal camera on that?
yeah, dude, at 20 amp load, like
They do warm up because they're like rated for what, like 30 in
they have
theory?
a 45 10 gauge.
Oh, yeah,
45 amp crimp
Like,
head.
yeah.
You'd expect at least 30 continuous,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
10 gauge.
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
No.
That's like 170 degrees at the contact.
what?
Something along those lines. I have it's
It's like when your housing starts to melt
Yeah,
at that point.
the
Yeah, like
housing
plastic
gets
is
too
gonna.
hot.
Yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
eventually your actual housing will start to melt
Yes,
if it
yeah,
overheats.
it'll bring down the whole housing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
house.
but in terms of silly things we should be doing is just pushing the other components to make sure, because the battery's fine,
Yeah.
but I'm connector limited now, right? So
Checking your system rather than just the
but
battery.
not just trusting it. Like if I just
Yeah.
like looked at the spec sheet, I'm like, it's a 45 amp connector, it's good. And now my ammo can's on fire.
Totally. Totally.
I do love that Umesh's take on silly things is we really need to do systems engineering, people.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. I love that.
Oh, fantastic.
The next question, Evan, VA3ZZA, and I've put it big bold here, not legal advice. I'd be interested in hearing about some safety tips when dealing with an angry bag of chemicals that are batteries. So, yeah.
So they sell these pouches that you can store your lithium ion batteries in.
Do you do that? Do you use those? Or do you buy other...
I have too many to buy pouches for all of them. But that's something that if you're working with lipo packs, soft packs, if you're going to charge a battery and it fits in them, there's no reason not to use a bag.
Yeah.
Right? Like it helps contain like the vent.
Yeah, sure.
And then in terms of larger battery projects, like I've seen people literally do like huge, like half a container's worth of batteries in terms of like home power wall projects. Ooh. So when you're talking about the bigger side of things, they're talking about not having it in your home.
Yeah,
right?
Of course. Yeah.
Right, type of thing. Like get a tough shed and put it in your backyard and build it, separately. Right.
Yeah.
But in terms of smaller batteries, I'd like to remind everyone that, everybody is carrying a battery with them every day. It's in your phone, you're putting them in your ears, you're doing, if I would feel less comfortable carrying around a, flask of gas in my pocket than I would batteries.
Batteries,
right?
Really?
So
interesting.
I think everyone has a comfort level with what they're perceived, but it's funny because literally they're holding on to batteries more often than I think. And not just the regular batteries, like probably the most volatile chemistry of battery is what you'll find in most of your consumer electronics.
Sure,
like
the
your
polymer.
phones. Yeah, polymers,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and one thing, and this is just a general, I guess, PSA for folks who come across puffy batteries at home. One thing I recently learned, because I had a battery at home that puffed up, and I was like, what do I do with this? I'm like, if I throw it in the trash, what if the trash can catches fire and then lights up the whole house and neighborhood? And after some Googling, I found that at least the Home Depots around here have a little station you can go to, and like there's like a metal bin inside that's specifically dedicated for recycling batteries that are not good. So if you end up stumbling across one and you don't know what to do with it, don't throw it in the trash. You're not supposed to do that. Home Depots at least, and Google around your area for recycling batteries. Always a good thing to do.
You know, I'll touch on this more later, just building on the PSA portion of it, right? Is don't trust everything that you read. And if something looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'll put something together for the team on this later, but there are batteries stories online where people have like, oh, I bought this 9,000 milliamp hour 18650 only to find out that it's this just tiny battery and the entire cell is full of sand.
Right. And they just put the label on there because they can. Yeah. And this goes actually back to your earlier point of like stress testing. It's not, I wouldn't even use the word stress, but like capacity test or just, check that the specs that are claimed are actually real.
Right. And this is one of the reasons I kind of like sourcing batteries from used things. One of which are like electric cars. So the Field Day battery was a decommissioned electric car battery pack.
Really?
Yeah. These are Samsung cells manufactured into modules by Bosch and sold to an OEM. You think they're buying garbage?
No, they're going to buy the good
real stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So when I look for 18650 cells, a lot of the community started off like sourcing like laptop packs. Right? And they strip all the 18650s out of them and they test them. But you know something? All of us, we get rid of laptops like end of life. These batteries are degraded and they're trash. So there are sources for good quality batteries. But again, if you don't test it, you don't know. And that's the core.
Yeah. So I think last thing on this section before we move on.
Yeah. All right.
This is a question from D. KO6BTM.
Currently running the cameras.
Who is currently running the cameras and the audio board. Thank you, D. What kind of things happen in the life of a battery expert that people who are not into batteries wouldn't expect? One crazy thing.
We didn't even tell him what any of these questions were ahead of time. So he's getting these raw, real time.
If the guest knows what's coming, they don't need tequila.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, let's repeat the question one more time.
What is one crazy thing that happens in the life of a battery expert that people who are not into batteries wouldn't expect? Frankly, rating used cars for batteries seems to me to qualify.
You kind of answered with that one, yeah.
How does one find used electric cars to raid for batteries?
Honestly, that you would find they're everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. There's so many online resellers and recycling people that will take them and sell them.
Really?
Yeah. I don't want to plug anyone's particular thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I've also bought from those same people and then like literally got trash delivered to me. So, but it's kind of like,
is it part of the game?
It's part of the game. It's like understanding
the battery game.
Battery game. Yeah. But I think obviously like bad things happening, that's never good, right? Like even though I love playing with batteries, I still acknowledge the fact that, things can happen, right?
Yeah, of course.
And they can happen with professional consumer electronics too. I remember there was a particular cell phone company that had problems with, things catching on fire, right? That's a problem. So I just try to buy reputable stuff. But I guess in terms of going off the deep end is literally buying large amounts of capacity
for pennies.
For very inexpensive dollars.
When at one point you showed me a picture of some vehicle just completely full of batteries.
Yeah, that was my Chevy Silverado that I had, which got stolen during the pandemic because it just...
Oh my gosh.
The vehicle, not the batteries. Thank God. Thank God.
Okay. The vehicle can go, the batteries. No.
Yeah, no, so like I have a friend in San Diego who made a business of converting classic cars to electric.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. What a wild thing,
it's
right?
a cool hobby.
And essentially, some of the batteries that he comes across, I mean, in a vehicle, you only have so much space. So I would, if we're on iPhone 16, I'll go buy his iPhone 14 batteries because they're not as power dense, But essentially, I bought 33 kilowatt hours worth of raw capacity, which is like kind of 3 Tesla Powerwalls worth of cells.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. But I spread the love around because I have some friends that are also into this, so I kind of hook them up and things like that. And whatever I saved is what I've been using for my own personal projects for field day, and eventually when I get around to it, I want to. UPS's. I don't want to name any brands.
Oh, sure, yeah, like backup power supplies.
Backup power supplies, dude. Those things are so bad.
I know.
They're like engineered to fail. Like every 2-3 years, I'm swapping them
Gotta
out.
make money somehow.
Which is ironic because they only exist in the case of something else failing.
Yeah.
So one of my goals is to build up my own central UPS using Victron Energy type stuff. So I'm a big Victron fanboy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I love their equipment. They make great stuff.
Every time I see him, he's like, bruh, you got to try Victron.
Have you heard of Victron?
Yeah. So I
the best.
actually have a solar charge controller from
Ooh, nice.
too. And I like these because you can connect to them through Bluetooth. You can create mini networks and actually ecosystems for power. Really cool.
Dude, that's rad.
Yeah. So, all right. So, thing that happens in the life of a battery expert, rating 33 kilowatt hours of batteries out of something. Very good.
I would not have expected that one.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I no longer got my fix throwing small packs around. I
Right.
needed
You
the big stuff.
need the big stuff now. Oh man, that was a fantastic subject. I mean, that was a lot of battery stuff. We could talk for batteries forever, I feel like.
I think
We have 3 more topics to go.
we could, but we're not going to talk batteries forever because we're finally, Ara, back on a couch.
We are. Oh my god, it's been a month since we last recorded, I want to say.
It's been about a month.
Yeah. You were busy. I was busy. What's been going on, dude?
We were both busy. So we have 2 more quick topics here on what we've been up to since we were last on a couch. I went up to Oregon, and it was
W7O Campout, was it?
really cool. It was the Whiskey 7 Oscar Campout, which is the annual Oregon Campout. Amy, AG7GP, helps put this whole thing together. And I think it is the biggest Summits on the Air campout in the country.
Dude, it's gotta be. I mean, there was like a massive crowd of people there.
It was, I think, over 60 people.
Over 60 people.
It was huge. We had the entire campground. The reason I ended up there is earlier this year, I was hiking Rabbit with Adam, K6ARK, and he said, hey, you're coming up to Oregon, right? And I said, I have no plans to go to Oregon. And he said, well, tell you what, I already arranged a campsite, and I already have a car, and you can just show up. So just buy the plane tickets. So I just bought plane tickets. I had no plan. I didn't look up the mountains. I didn't look up where the campground was.
Adam, take the wheel.
Adam, take the wheel. I will get on this airplane, and when I get off on the other end, I am hoping there's a camp out there.
Yes.
So luckily, the day before I was supposed to fly, Adam hits up Amy and says, hey, Amy, is your husband, Robin, available to drive?
Oh.
So I got to the airport, and Robin picked me up. So I got to ride up to the campground with Robin. We crashed there. MTB, of course.
N6 MTB.
Yes.
Yeah, N6
Yes,
MTB.
the California MTB.
The California MTB.
Because there's also a 7 MTB.
7 MTB, yes,
right.
yes.
Yeah, so we ended up camping next to him.
Oh, man.
And they brought their smoker and everything. So we had freshly smoked pork butt.
Oh, yeah, we got some photos of that here. Oh, yeah.
Yep, there you go. So there's Bill. And
making this, dude, that looks good. That looks so good.
Phenomenal. So yeah, we camped. I got up there. I had no idea where I was, but luckily Tim was there in 7 KOM as well as Adam. I finally got to hang out with them, and a plan emerged over a large variety of beverages because Bill brought beverages, Adam brought beverages, Tim brought beverages. SSN, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course,
so he brought beverages. I think there were spritzes or something. So there's a large variety of beverages. And over the course of the first evening, we decided to go up and do a first activation of Howlock Mountain, which is W7O CS005.
Dude, that's incredible.
So never been activated. We make it up there. It's 10 miles, 2,400 feet.
Is this it?
So that's, yes.
Dang, dude. God, it looks beautiful. It's just like crisp, like no clouds in the sky, lovely, like just mountains, and it looks like still a little bit of snow in those sharp peaks. It was up there.
Do you have the picture on your computer of Adam with a bug?
Yes. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Well, oh no.
Come back.
I'm completely screwing up what I was trying to do. Sorry, folks.
So this is on the previous peak before we made our way over there. But Adam decided to bring a bug with him.
Wow.
And the cool thing about the W7O Campout is the 2-meter CW.
Oh, that bug is hooked up to his Quangsheng?
Yes.
Oh, that's rad.
So if you're listening to the audio version of this, what you're missing, thank you. That's an iPhone photo. What you're missing is a picture of Adam with a very beautiful bug.
It's like a Verboplex? It's a nice Verboplex.
It's a nice Vibroplex.
Or Vibroplex.
That he carried up in a custom printed 3D case.
So it doesn't get damaged?
So it doesn't get damaged. And he's hammering out Morse code on a 2-meter Quansheng.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And it was just the most ridiculous way to get a first activation. Just the dumb embodied, and I loved every minute of it. So that was really cool. And if you check the mountain, I think I have the record for the first activation, because I get up there and Tim and Adam say, Mark, we've activated so many first time peaks in Oregon. Yeah. We don't need this. You can have this one. Oh. So I got the first contact on my Quansheng.
Nice. Oh, dude, that's awesome. You got like a few first activations under your belt.
Yeah, one in Ohio, two in California, and now one in Oregon.
Dang, man. I don't even have one. That's like my goal for 2025. I need to get at least one. For those who don't know, first activation is, there are a lot of SOTA summits out there that have never been activated before. And so first activation is activating that summit for the first time. It's really hard when you're in a populated area and like a bunch of people activate them, but dude, that's so cool. It looks like you guys had a blast out here. All the photos look like just a bunch of, it's a big crowd.
It was a big crowd. And to get the picture you just had up, I don't know if we can put this one on the screen. To get that picture from that angle, I shimmied up a tree. So for that picture, I'm hanging one-handed off a tree, taking a selfie, and awesome. There were several beverages involved at that point in the evening.
Dude, this is great.
So that was like sort of my first time. Yeah, and Josh and DJ, of course, were there.
Top chasers.
First time I've ever gotten to meet either one of them.
Oh, dude, they're legends. It's funny because I remember the first time I met them, because I went to the W7O Campout 2 years ago, and I remember coming back and telling a couple of my friends where I was, and I was like, oh yeah, and I finally got to meet this guy who I've only ever talked to over Morse code. Like, he was just tones in the ionosphere to me.
Right, yeah.
And I actually got to like meet him in person and shake his hand, and it was a lot of fun.
So that was my first sort of vignette. Very cool to get the first activation and to do it with Tim and Adam. The second vignette was on Saturday. And if you are subscribed to the SOTA Plus channel, which I run with Ara and Dee, Devin and friends, if you're subscribed to that channel, you may have seen a video about the NR7Y mod. And this is a modification to the Quansheng that allows you to plug a Morse code key directly into the Quansheng and start sending Morse code if you're using the IJV 2.9 R5 firmware.
Yeah, there's a bunch of firmware flavors out there.
And all of the information you need is in this video if you want to do this to your own. Here's what happened. I was out hiking with Brian in our 7Y, who I met over beverages at the previous night's party. We decided to do Mount Bailey, W7O CS004. That's a 6-mile hike, 2,200 feet of elevation. And while we were out activating this, we started brainstorming how cool would it be if we could take this modification to a Quansheng that he'd already figured out and proved worked, but tell people how to do it.
Yeah, because I think in our last episode you talked about this mod,
Yes.
and then you're like, oh, I'll link to the how to do website in the link below.
Right,
And
but
then we
there
learned
was
that
none.
there wasn't one.
There was no how to do this mod website.
Yeah.
And so I said, Brian, I want you to make this video. And he would think about it. He would have done it eventually, but you know me.
I know you. You're like, all right, here's the camera, go.
Correct. So when we got that back that night, we said, hey, we need an unmodified Quanchung. So we just started wandering around the campsite, and Tim, N7KOM, had an unmodified Quanchung, and he like threw it at us like a football. He's like,
Catch.
here, it's $20, who cares? So he gives us his radio, and then we needed to be able to download the firmware. So we scrounged around and got a Starlink.
Oh my gosh.
And then we needed to have a soldering iron, so we scrounged around and got some spare wire and a soldering iron. Then we found this ring light.
How did you power the solder iron?
It's it's just a battery.
Batteries?
It's a battery. With batteries, anything is possible. So all right.
awesome.
So we scrounged and we found all these parts, and I shot the entire video handheld on my iPhone.
Wow, dude, this is great.
And yeah, we shot this at about 10 o'clock at night on a
field hack.
it was a field hack.
That's awesome.
Which made me doubly happy because AG7GP had made a crack about how we should just have a surgery bench for Quanchungs.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And then I was I had travel starting the next week.
Uh-huh.
And then when I came back, there was going to be the W6 Campout.
Yes.
So I thought, if this video is going to have an impact, it needs to be out immediately.
Yes.
So I got back from the W7O Campout, edited the video overnight, posted it, and then immediately left town. And when I came back, it was time for the W6 Campout.
Yeah, and funny enough, I have two Quanchungs at home. I had not modified either of them. And so I watched your video and followed it to the T, like verbatim. No deviations, and then ended up finding like a few things that that weren't covered in the video, and then discovered other people had also found them in the video. And so like your comment section is so great because like the community came back and was like, hey, this, by the way, you don't have to do, or, oh, I had to do this part that wasn't in it. And then you went back and you actually updated the description in the video. So like now you actually have like a full how to do this if you watch the video, and then supplementary with the discussion.
So what's the purpose of modifying the radio? Is it because you want to do CW with it? Is that essentially
on
it?
2 meter, which is arguably one of the weirder, like, I don't know of anyone who normally does CW on 2 meter. I had not heard of it. And I think someone figured out, it was like a hack, right, that someone did on this radio. And so now there's just like this like group of SOTA operators who likes to do CW 2 meter.
Well, and there are heritage radios that do 2 meter CW.
Yeah. And modern ones too, like my FT991A. You could just, if you're on 2 meter, you could set the mode to CW and it'll do CW.
So what's cool is there
not
were
really many HTs.
Massive price
Not
difference
many
between
HTs.
those two radios.
Huge prices for
So Quanchung around $20.
Yeah.
Mod it yourself. I think we just found my wife's next Christmas gift.
Ooh.
Good thing she's not behind the curtain right now.
You should have seen the face she just made.
Was it a good face?
You don't even need to wrap it.
Brilliant.
So it's a really cool mod. The reason you need to do it is the way the Quanchung is wired is it has a 2.5 millimeter and a 3.5 millimeter plug for the microphone. And normally you have to modify a cable, basically make a custom cable to connect up the right stuff so that the radio can see the opening and closing of the key. What this modification does is it moves that cable inside the radio. So instead of having to have an adapter, and I hate dongles and adapters, you can just take a straight key or a paddle and plug it straight into the side. And if you have a paddle, one of those will act like a straight key.
Yeah.
So you don't have to carry any extra hardware.
Yeah.
Now, you can add a keyer. So let's say you want to use it at 22 words a minute. You're probably not going to do that on a field portable straight key strapped to your arm, right?
Right.
But you can do it easily with a keyer. And so there's different tiny keyers you can build, 3 or 4 different variants that I've seen, where you just add it in line with a paddle. And then you can use the Quanchung just like you would use any other radio.
So this means making a custom cable?
It's
And,
not
and like an inline device.
it's not a custom cable.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is a device in there.
Yes, there's a physical device with a battery,
A wee little battery.
a very small battery. But yes, so it's a great mod. I was really happy to get to go to Oregon and meet NR7Y in person.
Yeah, and then get his hack on how to do it. It's amazing.
Because it didn't feel right for me to make a video about his hack.
Yeah. That's
And-
so great that worked out, man. And like, I'm glad you posted it. And what's great is actually a great segue into the next subject, which is a week after that was a W6.
1 week.
1 week later, because Mark clearly, hadn't had enough SOTA campouts. We went up together to the W6 SOTA Fest in Big Bear Lake. So
Yep.
Southern California, Big Bear Lake at the Tanglewood Group Campground. And, it wasn't as big of a turnout as 7O, which is by far the most popular, but, a lot of the SoCal SOTA folks, Adam K6ARK, and so many other people showed up. And it was nice, like fun, laid back. Like folks brought like motorbikes and stuff like that to do like activations with their motorbikes. And I ended up, so I had just done the mod like the night before. And so I booked it up that next morning to meet with Mark and Adam and Dee and a few others up on Gold Mountain. And I get up there and there's folks sitting there like keying away on their like Kwangshangs. And I was like, oh, dude, this is awesome. I can't wait. And like, it was like the only place you could go at that time, at least in that day, where if you got on the radio and you dialed to 144.1, which is the CW calling frequency, and you called CQ on 2 meter, someone would come back to you.
Oh, it's amazing.
You didn't even need to spot. And so the other thing I had noticed, and I'll put this up on the screen here in a second, is that the radio has that 3.5 millimeter jack that you were talking about. And it turns out that the tiny paddle fits perfectly into that port. So I was able to insert the tiny paddle and you could flip it around one way or the other. So if you flip it to the dit side, you could then use this little tiny paddle as a straight key. So just standing there straight keying out CQ and making contacts. It was just so, it's both funny and like also useful. It's just,
And R is not going to do this, so I'm going to do it for him. If you go to n6araelectronics.com,
oh my God.
you can buy your own tiny paddle that will work with a modified Quanchung. Highly recommended. I own several, so should you. Anyway,
In the
Ara,
description.
Link in the description below. There we go. All right. See, I plugged my own stuff.
very good.
I try not to.
I have way less shame.
No, I know.
It's a superpower.
It's okay. It's a superpower. But it was a ton of fun. Like, yeah. And like, one of my favorite things about this activation, I don't have a very good photo of this, but we went up, you, me, and Dee, we went up to a mountain that is a SOTA summit that I forget. I forget the name of it. I think it's like Whiskey 6 Charlie Tango 060.
That sounds right. Yep.
It doesn't have like a name.
7940.
7940, which is really just the altitude. So if you ever see a SOTA summit and it's just like 4 numbers or 5, it's probably it's the altitude of the summit in feet. But what was interesting about this summit, it was kind of boring. It was like a big, dirt road all the way to the top. And when you get there, there's like a giant pit where the summit normally would be. And it turns out this summit is actually a mining site for quartz or something like that. And over time, the summit has been shrinking. So one day it'll get mined down so far down that it's no longer going to be a summit. So it's sort of like the tail of the shrinking summit. And one day, like this, no one will be able to activate it. And I still think, okay, to the sort of organizers and stuff, please make a badge for I have activated a summit that's not a summit anymore badge. That would be a cool one. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe it already is. I just haven't gotten it. But
I endorse
anyway,
this
I'll
concept.
get off my soapbox.
By the way,
Mark.
the 2 meter CW thing is really cool for D because anybody who watches SOTA Plus knows that D loves Morse code.
Yes.
And she wants everybody else to do Morse code.
Yes.
And if you go to a campout in particular, people are trying to go to as many summits as possible. And so it's normal to not set up HF. It's one of the few times of the year where you have a lot of good HF operators who aren't running HF. And if you want to be able to contact them and you don't want to use FM, this Quanchung mod is by far the easiest way to get a CW radio that's not HF into the hands of all of your friends.
Yeah. Just practice together.
Right.
That. Yeah, that's great.
And I've seen it spreading across the YouTubes, Forrest channel.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Forrest loves Morse code.
Hi, Forrest.
Hi, Forrest. And he did the Quanchung mod, and he has been getting a ton of people to see this.
Love it. Let's go.
So let's go. If you don't have a Quanchung that's been modified yet, highly recommended. You should do it.
Mark, I think it would be good to have the link in the description, maybe an affiliate link. Could you help us with those?
We could.
Oh, okay.
We will look into it, and we will get back to you after this tequila.
Like and subscribe, people.
Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Okay, topic 4.
Topic 4.
Okay, so probably some. Okay, here's the thing. Mark, a week ago, I want to say, called me after he went up and did an activation. I ended up actually working you from there. Oh, someone's out of tequila,
And I'm going to need it for topic 4.
First one or second one?
Let's go back to the first one. I'm rotating.
Okay.
The first one was actually really good. So while Umesh tops off Mark's tequila
Glass
here,
of recovery.
Polish that.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna jump in on that too while we're going. Mark called me like a couple days ago or right after this happened, and he's like, "Dude, I have the craziest story to tell you." And I was like, my knee-jerk reaction was, save it for the podcast. So I don't know anything about what happened, so I'm with the audience right now. And I want to know what happened.
I have not been briefed either here.
You really?
I have no idea.
No, I saved it.
Perfect. So what happened, Mark, to the car?
Well, it's not really about the car.
Oh.
It's really about SOTA.
Okay.
And I am a sucker for doing something dumb.
Can confirm.
So Dee had already invited me to go to San Diego last Saturday.
Okay.
And she said, we're going to go down. We're going to meet your bunny, Tony. We're going to talk about microwaves.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go dancing at an arcade. Then we're going to go to a housewarming, play in the pool, and then drive over and meet some of your other buddies, Adam's friend, Brooks.
Oh, Brooks. Okay.
We're going to get a garage tour. We're going to learn about machining. We're going to do all these things, and then we're going to drive home at night. And I said, great, that's an excellent plan for Saturday. I'm committed to that.
Okay.
So that's on the calendar. Then I get a text from Ahmed, KN6STX, who is one of the most active Parks on the Air activators possibly in America. The guy loves POTA.
Oh, yeah.
He's always on. He is the park leader by like an order of magnitude on multiple parks.
You got to put him on the log scale.
Yeah, it's like on a log scale. You can see Ahmed. He's a thing.
Okay.
He loves activating parks. So he sends me a note and says, "Hey, Mark, there's for the first time in 5 or 6 years, an open gate day at White Mountain going up to the research station." And White Mountain is 14,200 and change
So it's a
feet tall.
14er.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can like bike up to it, right? Normally.
Correct.
But this allowed you guys to actually drive to the
To
top?
the research station, but not to the top.
Oh, okay.
So it's still a 5-mile hike, but it's only a 5-mile hike.
Okay. At 14,000 feet, which like there's practically no oxygen.
Yeah, he's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So it's only 2,500 feet of elevation gain.
Right.
So it's way easier.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Right. 5 miles, 2,500 feet. It's the same as the stuff I just done in Oregon, just taller.
You're like, no big deal.
Right. So I'm like, no big deal. Let's go.
Oh, no.
So the only problem is to get there when the gate opens and to get back before they close it again. I had to leave at 2 a.m.
Oh, my gosh.
So I drove Dee back from San Diego, got back to LA at 10 or 11, hopped into bed for about 2 hours,
Okay.
got in my car, and drove 300 miles north to White Mountain because I love something stupid. Okay, so I get to the trailhead. I'm there within 5 minutes of when I told Ahmed I would be there.
Okay. Wow.
He's standing by his truck,
Fantastic
waving,
tolerance.
looking for me to come up the road. I come up the road, and it's worth noting, foreshadowing, the road is somewhere on the order of 10 plus miles of very rough dirt and rock.
Okay,
And
because
that-
we had just come from W670, or W6 Campout, which also had like really rough terrain. driving up.
Imagine something ballpark similar.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, but
Okay.
more of it.
That was pretty rough.
Yes. And that dirt road starts about 20 miles into the forest. And the road itself is about 13,000 feet elevation. So it's a high elevation, very rough road that is very inaccessible with no cell phone service.
Oh no.
For reference. Anyway, we meet up, we drive up to the research station. It is gorgeous. It is 70 degrees, sunny, no clouds, no wind, possibly the most beautiful day that has ever occurred at 14,000 feet. So we start hiking, no problem. I notice Ahmed is struggling a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. At that altitude, for sure.
And I said, hey, are you all right? And he said, well, I'm fine.
Okay.
But I said, let me feel your pack. And his pack is 50 pounds. And I said, Ahmed, why are you carrying a 50-pound pack? This is a day hike. And he said, well, I did want to have all of my batteries, 60 watts.
What?
So he had the full POTA station,
In his backpack?
the whole thing.
Oh my god, dude. On a 14er, like you're supposed to try to most of that pack weight should be water.
It was a heavy pack. And he
you have
also had
water?
4 liters of water.
Oh, okay. All right.
Plenty of food. It had, binoculars. It was everything you could imagine a backpack was in this backpack. Luckily, we bumped into some other guys. We distributed the stuff and hit a few pieces behind a rock. We keep going. We get to the top. Not a problem. He's a little bit behind me, but Ahmed is very strong-willed. And if he said he's going to get to the top, he's going to get to the top.
Love it.
Gets to the top. There's probably a picture of us helping carry him the last 5 feet or so.
Is this it?
Yeah. See if you can throw that on the screen.
I'll get this up on the
Yeah,
screen.
there you go.
just
So
a second.
there's Ahmed, my buddy, and I holding him at the top of White Mountain.
Oh, wow.
Wow, dude, that is incredible.
Beautiful,
Look at how
beautiful
small
summit.
the ground is down below. That's amazing.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. We're only halfway through the hike,
Oh no.
and he's very tired.
Oh no.
So we start hiking down. We get down to where you have to start hiking up again because it's one of those. There's a couple slopes you have to go back up. He's tired, but we get lucky because this was a special day. This was Rivian test day.
Rivian? He had one?
No, but Rivian did
Oh, the company was out there testing.
at 14,200 feet.
No way.
And so at the end of the day, they bring back the last Rivian fully instrumented with thermocouples to monitor battery performance.
no way. Umesh is like, yeah.
And I will say, I am not an endorsement by the channel, but
If you want to
dang,
sponsor us, though.
that was impressive because those Rivians were going up some crazy stuff.
Yeah. And like higher altitude, less air flow to cool the batteries. Like that must have been a real stress test.
It was impressive. And you could see the wheels actively spinning, and they were doing things you should not do to a vehicle. I saw them tear a 5-inch gash through one of their tires and swapped out the tire, and they were like, yeah, that's why we bring spares.
That's so
So Rivian props for that. They brought us back.
They did?
They threw us in the vehicle because Ahmed said he said he was tired, and so they collected the stragglers as they came back.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
And one of the things everybody should know is if you're hiking with a partner, you don't leave your partner.
Never. Yeah.
And so if Ahmed was riding back, I was riding back.
Yeah.
So
Good call.
we hopped in, got back to the start. Everybody had taken pieces of Ahmed's backpack,
Sure.
gave it back to him, and at this point, this is the most perfect day.
Yeah, it's going great.
The
So
weather
far.
is still incredible.
Yeah. Oh no.
So we hop in my car, we drive back down through the gate, and I say goodbye to Ahmed, and we start going
Back home.
back home. I make it a couple miles down the dirt road, and you know how gas pedals, when you push them, they make the engine go like vroom vroom,
Yeah.
and then the wheels go turn turn.
Turn. Yep. It should be proportional.
So it didn't do that anymore.
Oh no.
And so I'm, pushing this pedal and wondering, it used to do things. Meanwhile, my car's starting to roll back down the mountain.
No.
And threw on the brakes, managed to mostly keep it from running into the bushes by the side of the road.
The brakes still worked.
Brakes still worked.
Oh my god.
Was the engine running or you just lost throttle?
Engine was fine.
Engine was fine. So you still had hydraulics.
I still had hydraulics.
Okay.
Oh.
one of many, many lucky notes to this story.
Wild.
So that was the thing going wrong. The gas no longer connects to the wheels. That was the thing that went wrong. Every single thing that subsequently happened was me being the luckiest man on the face of the planet.
Okay.
Ahmed comes by.
So you guys had already split up, so he just happened
We'd
to be
already
coming
split
back?
up, and I was going faster than he was.
Okay.
So he was like tootling along in his pickup truck.
Oh, gosh.
So he comes by and he's like, "Hey, Mark, I just saw you. You good, buddy?" I was like, "No." the vroom vroom, it doesn't happen anymore, you know.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, yeah, not a problem. Let's hang out." And he said, just out of curiosity, I noticed on the way in, there's precisely 100 feet of this road within 30 miles that has cell phone service. It's 100 feet behind you downhill. You want it? So I put the car into neutral and I gently glide back downhill to a small flat spot, which is the only piece of the entire forest that has cell phone service.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Mark.
So I have half a bar of cell phone service blinking in and out. I get on the phone with AAA. I spend...
How do you even describe that to them? Like,
Well-
hey, I'm in the middle of freaking nowhere. Can you like come
was
over
like-
here with the big truck and take
Well,
me?
basically.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you know the warning lights on your dashboard?
Yeah,
Imagine if all of them are on.
like a Christmas tree.
Yes.
Oh,
a
that's
Christmas
bad.
tree of sadness.
Okay, that's yeah. No gifts. Oh
Yeah. And it displayed a big message.
Santa only robs you.
It displayed a big message that was like, engine doesn't work, go see your dealer. So I called AAA. AAA is like,
Should be laughing.
we'll work on it. Somebody will get back to you.
Okay.
So I'm waiting there. I'm waiting. I feel bad for Ahmed. He's been very patient. I was like, hey, buddy, you can just set up your antenna. So we activated the POTA.
well, what else are you gonna do?
Knocked out like 30 contacts while I was on hold.
Oh wow, wow.
He's very fast.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he had 60 watts, as we discussed.
Beautiful.
We carried his 15 amp hour battery all the way to the summit and back without using it, by the way.
It's efficient that way. You know? You don't have to charge it when you get home.
I got my exercise. Luckily, we had his battery, so we got to use that. So I called AAA back and I said, hey, nobody reached out. And they're like, oh, yeah, nobody wants to do this.
No.
They're like, you're in the middle of the forest on a dirt road.
Yeah, it's a liability to them.
And the sun sets right now.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It's not happening. Oh, shit. So Ahmed says, I got this. And this is where the man displayed some genius. He said, I have a very large truck.
Okay.
I bet U-Haul has a trailer.
Oh.
So I use my half bar of service and I start looking around for every U-Haul place within 100 miles. There is precisely one trailer. So we reserve it. Conveniently, it's in Bishop, which is just at the base of the mountain.
What time is it around this time?
At this point, it is 8 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
PM?
Yes.
Whoa.
And I've been driving and hiking since 2 a.m.
Oh, geez.
And I also only brought a couple snack bars because,
Yeah.
you know, I had plenty of food, but there was no meal.
Sure.
Right,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah,
like
yeah.
subs-
You can survive, but it's going to kind of suck.
Right. And I had a couple extra liters of water. I had my emergency supplies, which
Yeah.
I am thoroughly into at this point.
And for folks who don't know, Mark is pretty much a camel. Like, he does not, he like barely sips water. I don't know how the man does it. It's like a water machine. I just consume.
So we reserve the trailer.
Uh-huh.
We go down the mountain in Ahmed's truck because at this point it's clear there's no way I'm getting out of this.
So you just like abandoned your car up there?
Ditch the car.
Okay.
Do you have a picture of my car? There should
I
be
saw.
There you go.
I tried not to
Yes.
look at any of the photos.
Okay. So if you look at this picture of the car, this is my car, completely dysfunctional as the sun sets on it. This is my last view of the car that night.
You just left it up there.
I'd point out that
Such a
Mazdas
nice shot.
It's beautiful. It looks like a commercial.
Mazdas are gorgeous. I showed this to the dealer and they're like, wow, that should be a commercial. And I said, yeah, but it wasn't working at the time. So,
So you probably don't want to advertise that.
yeah.
Zoom, question mark?
So we go down,
Zoom?
we go down to the bottom. We go to the only restaurant that's still open, which is a drive-through fast food restaurant.
All right.
Take it to the hotel, which is the world's cheapest hotel, where we discovered that the only room available has no air conditioning.
Oh, okay. So you're going to say bed bugs. All right, cool.
Probably that too.
Okay.
No air conditioning. The room's 85 degrees. We don't sleep.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It was
oh, no.
terrible.
Oh, God.
So we get up in the morning, and now we have the next problem. The trailer that I need is only available starting at 3 p.m.
Oh, jeez.
Luckily, it's a small town. So I call the emergency number. The trailer dude agrees to come in really early, super early in the morning,
Wow.
10:30 a.m.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So 10:30 a.m., we get the trailer. And while we're there, he says, you got really lucky. And I was like, I know, I got a trailer. This is like the best
Amazing.
thing that's
Yeah,
ever happened
yeah,
to me. And he
yeah.
said, no. Somebody else tried to book it 10 minutes after you got it.
Oh
And remember, it was the only trailer within 100 miles.
Yeah.
So we got the trailer, hook it up, go back up. Now, the road explicitly said, do not take trailers on this road.
Okay.
So we take the trailer on
What
the road.
option do you have?
Yeah, I bought the $25 it's going to be okay insurance. Yeah. So we take the trailer on the road. It takes us over an hour to get up to the car.
Yeah. Car's still there. Probably not.
Car's still
stolen.
there. Car's fine. Here's the next piece of really good luck.
Oh boy.
The reverse gear still works.
Wait, the engine can transmit power in reverse.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is a transmission issue.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
So we very carefully back the car onto the trailer,
Okay.
lock it down, and it takes another almost 2 hours to get this thing
you would
back
have had
out.
to like winch this thing up or push it or something. Otherwise,
with a winch we didn't have.
Yeah.
So we would have had to have gone back down, found a come along.
Oh my gosh.
So luckily I still had some reverse. So we used that to get it on the trailer, lock it down. Ahmed drives us out. And there's a picture on here where I was actively running around the trailer rejoicing where we hit the pavement again. Yeah, so here's the car on there with Ahmed
Wow.
presenting it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, shout out to what kind of car is that? A Silverado or
It's
Chevy
a
something?
2500 pickup, I think,
All right, dude.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
with
The car
140,000 miles on it. It's well
Crushed
maintained.
it.
Yeah.
crushed it.
So we get the car on there. We get it out, and then see if you can find the one where I'm on the pavement. Did I put that on here?
I don't see it.
Oh, my car was still working in that place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, we
I
get
don't have
back
a
to the
photo.
pavement. I'm rejoicing, and we get it back. We get it back home. We had to crawl at 55 miles an hour. The reason this was so stressful is I had a plane flight on Tuesday morning, and I made it back just in time for that plane flight.
Dude, that's insane.
So I ditched it. I literally just left it on the street outside the dealership with a note that was like, "Please fix."
Fix me.
Yeah.
You can write it on the dirt on the back.
No,
like,
I used my SOTA logging notebook.
multiple uses.
Yeah,
for it.
multiple uses. So I throw them the keys to the car in the night box, just to, like, please figure this out.
That's insane.
So the next day they call me up and they said, "Hey, we got your car. All of the gears in the transmission are shot." And I said, "It's still
stripped the
and
whole
I said it still
gearbox?
reverses." And they're like, "A little bit for now."
With what teeth it has left.
It was the solenoids. Every single solenoid that controls the automatic transmission was shot.
So the solenoids aren't they like pneumatically fed?
So I am fascinated by how this occurred because it wasn't a
Yeah.
single solenoid. Every single one failed.
I wonder if it had to do with the altitude.
Could be
Can you get can you ask them for like a failure analysis?
I asked him for it. I said specifically, is it possible this was my fault? Like, did I do anything to this car that it wasn't designed to do? And they said no. They said they took the entire diagnostic report for the entire transmission for the entire time I was driving it.
Yeah.
They sent it back home to Mazda. Mazda's engineers looked at it and they said, no, that's unfortunate.
This is a new vehicle that's still under warranty. I recall you haven't gotten it that
just
long
recently
ago.
got it too.
Yeah, so it's 1 year old.
1 year.
It's a brand new vehicle.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's either that bathtub of failure where like early on it fails more likely or
Yeah.
failure is more likely, and then for a while it's great, and then at end of life it goes. But
I got away.
There's a correlation here.
There's got to be a correlation. I got away with this entire thing. How much do you think this cost me?
I hope $0 because it should be covered under
This sounds
warranty.
like a warranty issue.
Yeah.
Well, okay, the car repair. Yes, good guess.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
fully covered. It's going to be $0. I get a brand new transmission.
Okay.
How much do you think I spent getting off the mountain?
Oh.
So trailer rental, hotel.
Buying what's it called? What is it?
$500?
$500.
Wow. What?
Now, Fun fact.
Doing math.
If I had done what AAA recommended and somehow managed to find somebody to agree to do it, $4,500.
Specialty towing. So I used the desert a lot. And like idiots, we used to get our truck stuck a lot because we didn't know how to drive off-road properly.
Sure.
Right? And one time we were like, called, got the price. Oh, okay. We'll keep digging.
Yeah.
And this was, we were out there in the summer. We're triple digits. Yeah. It was crazy. Crazy times. That's a story for another day.
So
That's amazing. Oh, yeah, you got to save that one.
So there was about a 48-hour window there where I didn't know how to get home.
Wow.
Crazy,
and you had a
dude.
trip already planned. Man, you've been busy. You've been all over the place, dude.
Today is the first day in over 3 weeks where I've spent more than 12 hours at my house.
Wow. Well, welcome back to normalcy, I hope.
Yeah. We're going camping next weekend.
Never mind.
Are you taking the rental?
Yeah, so huge credit
So you
to...
still don't have your car back?
Oh, and I won't
Ever?
for a while.
Oh.
So it turns out the transmission is not available. So the earliest estimate that I was given was December 5th.
What?
So it's fully covered, but I can't have it back.
That doesn't make any sense.
So that's why I...
Take it out of another one and give it to the donor car.
Right? So I have a long-term loaner, courtesy of Mazda, which I will be driving for approximately the next 4 months. They did ask me not to do that again, though.
I bet.
You didn't do anything.
Nice.
They said
your lawyer talking
They said,
right now.
please no off-roading. And I said, if you look carefully at the photos, there's technically a road.
Yes, yeah, you're not off the road.
I wasn't off the road. The road was just not flat.
Yeah. And you didn't say what the road has to be made of.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it
This
was...
is
Okay, all right.
Anyway.
Sorry, your lawyer's correcting me. I'll shut up.
no. I mean, this is all within the capabilities of the vehicle.
Yeah, it really is. And like,
It's
they
the
advertise it
CX-30.
that
If
way.
anything, I would do it again just to get that extra data point for yourself.
Right? And this goes back to the electric socket. Like, does it happen to this car?
We talked about field testing.
Yeah. So,
I am a strong believer in field testing. And, we had a Patreon question about what are the stupid things we're not doing that we should be doing. Take your car, drive them to 14,000
This
feet.
is not actual advice. Please don't do this.
I would have just kindly reminded them that Rivian was out there and they didn't seem to have any problems.
The Rivian seemed to work. So
Maybe they should just fully refund you. And
wish
then
I
you
could
can
afford one of those.
get a free Rivian. Anyway, thank you to Mazda for covering my vehicle.
Good job,
and,
Mazda.
Are you plugging Mazda? Is that what's happening here?
Well, he
If
hasn't
you
got
want to be
his
a
car-
sponsor, we'll take that.
He hasn't got his car back yet. Dude.
Yeah, I don't have my car back yet. Check in with me later.
Actually, we should toss it to you for some plugs.
Oh, thank you. I actually would like to put in a plug. This is a plug for all of our listeners who need good vibes in their life. Good vibes can be obtained for free by hanging out with your friends. You don't need any equipment, no purchases, no credit card, no like and subscribe. Go outside and do radio. That's your plug for good vibes.
That's a plug?
That's
oh,
it.
I love that.
I don't really sell anything.
I love how the plug is like having a life.
Please have a life. I hope this podcast has
That's a great
supported
idea.
that effort.
That's a great idea.
I thought radio was a little bit of an antisocial because you could do that from home too. You know?
You can do it, yeah.
online-
You make it what you want.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh my gosh, wow. What a long and fantastic episode. Do we have anything else we want to cover?
I think we should thank people for sticking through this. This is the longest episode
I think
we've
this
done.
is the longest episode. We never, and for some context here, we never schedule how long the episode will be. We just sort of outline a bunch of stuff we want to talk about and then just crank through it. I'm almost afraid to look at the number now. We're probably at 2 hours or so.
Coming up on it.
All right, cool. But this has been a ton of fun. We'd love to have you back on a future episode, Umesh. We've had a blast talking to you.
Sounds like fun, guys. I had a fun too. I did have no idea 2 hours elapsed. So
Yeah.
we apologize to the viewers. If we could share some tequila with you, we would. But
But instead,
Pour it
we'll
through the screen.
consume it ourselves.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching. Patreon, before I forget. We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/sofas on the air. I should have pulled this up before we talked about it.
Well, Ara pulls it up. The
Here we go.
Patreon will allow us to have people who aren't local. You may have noticed that all of the guests that we've had show up here at Sofas on the Air are people who live in the Southern California area. And that's because we are dedicated to doing this in person on a sofa with people we care about. And if we want to bring in people from other parts of the country who have other types of crazy SOTA stories, POTA stories, or other cool ham radio stories, we need funding so we can get them to our sofa.
Yes, absolutely. And there's many great, I would say, benefits to the Patreon. So with the Trailhead category, you get for $5 a month, you actually get to ask the guest questions on our Discord. And then for $20 a month, the Ridgeline, you can actually suggest the guest. So you get to choose roughly, depending on how things go, who sits in the couch, and we get to interview. Ooh. So, yes. We already have a long list of people, but you get to help add to that list. So definitely check that out, patreon.com/sofas on the air. And help us grow this wonderful podcast that we're trying to make a thing. Oh my gosh. So much. I am very good. I'm in a happy place. This tequila was fantastic. I didn't go over the top. Thank you. Like, I was a little scared, I'll be honest. Thank you so much for being on the show with us and sharing these wonderful drinks and wonderful stories.
Appreciate you guys having me. This was a blast. I enjoy the stories and also an opportunity to share what it is that makes me happy.
I think we should say 73s for now.
Yeah, sounds good, guys.
And we'll be back for episode 6.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And 7-3.
7-3s.
Later, guys.
Bye. Sofas.
Sofas.
Sofas out of here. Sofas out of here. Wrap together. Sofas out of here. Yeah.